Good morning, everybody. My name is Pranav, a legal intern at Lexis and Company for the month of June, a student of Kristu Jayanti College of Law. And today I will be discussing about the topic of maintenance under Muslim law. Muslim law of maintenance differs from the other laws of maintenance in most other systems of laws. Since in most cases the obligation of a Muslim to maintain another arises only if the claimant has no means of property out of which he or she can maintain himself or herself. Unlike Hindu law, it is not an absolute obligation, and a Muslim is not required to maintain his children if the latter have their own sources of income or property out of which they can maintain themselves. The Muslim law of maintenance may be discussed from the point of view of the persons entitled to maintenance. Such persons are firstly the wife or husband, secondly the children, thirdly the parents and grandparents, and finally the other relations. Firstly, the wife. The Muslim husband's obligation to maintain his wife arises in the following two circumstances. Firstly, on account of a status arising out of a valid marriage, and secondly, on account of a prenuptial agreement entered into between the parties to the marriage or between the parents in case both the parties or one of them is minor. Obligation arising out of status. A Muslim husband is bound to maintain his wife even if she is rich. That is, she has means of her own, and notwithstanding the husband without any means. A Muslim husband is bound to maintain his wife of a valid marriage and not the wife of a void or irregular marriage. Only in one case he is bound to maintain the wife of an irregular marriage, that is, when the marriage is irregular for the want of witnesses. However, it is immaterial that the wife is rich or poor, Muslim or non-Muslim, young or old, enjoyed or unenjoyed. However, yeah, the wife has also the right to pledge the credit of her husband for providing herself with maintenance. Moving on to the quantum of maintenance. There is a difference of opinion among Muslim authorities as to the amount of maintenance a wife is entitled to receive from her husband. The Hidayah lays down that the quantum of maintenance should be determined on the basis of rank and financial position of both the parties. Imam Shafi was also of the view that financial position of both the parties should be taken into consideration. The Shias lay down that the amount of maintenance is to be determined on the basis of the wife's requirement of condiments, food, clothing, residence, service, and implements of anointing. Due regard, due regard being also to the custom of her equals among her own people in the city. Under the Hanafi law, maintenance becomes due. It is payable in monthly installments unless the court otherwise directs. Among the Shias, it is payable on a daily basis. Maintenance under anti-nuptial agreements. It has been seen in chapter 6 that certain anti-nuptial and post-nuptial agreements entered into between the parties are valid and enforceable under Muslim law. Thus, a wife may validly stipulate that in case the husband ill-treats her, takes a second wife, or keeps a concubine, she will be entitled to live separately and claim certain amount of maintenance against the husband. The wife is also entitled to special allowance known by the name of Kharch-e-Pandan, Guzara, or Mewakori, is stipulated in the anti-nuptial agreement between the parties or between their parents in case where the parties are minors. Moving on to the children. Just as any other personal law of other community, so also under Muslim law in determining all questions relating to the minor children, including custody, the welfare of the child is of paramount consideration. Prophet Muhammad enjoined upon a person to maintain his children. The Fatwa Qazi Khan holds that a poor person shall not be compelled to maintain other than four classes of persons: his minor children, his daughters who have attained puberty, whether unmarried or thaiba, wife and slaves. According to Hidayah, the maintenance of minor children rests on their father, and no person can be associate or partner in furnishing it. The primary obligation of maintaining children is on the father. The Muslim authorities lay down that the father who willfully neglected or deserted his children or refused to maintain them when he had the means to do so could be punished. The father is bound to maintain his children of both sexes, of any creed or religion. The father is required to provide maintenance even when the child is in the custody of the mother or any other person entitled to its custody. Even when the father is divorced, the mother of the child even when the father has divorced the mother of the child, his obligation to maintain his children continues. The mere fact that the father is in strained circumstances is no excuse for not maintaining the children. Any person who provides maintenance for the children or incurs debt can recover the amount actually spent. The mother has secondary obligation to maintain her children. Under the Hanafi law, the rule is that when the father is poor and the mother is rich, then the mother is bound to maintain the children. But the mother has no right to recover the amount spent on maintenance. The mother has the right to recover the amount spent on maintenance. Among the Shias, there is no such obligation on the mother, even when she is rich. Under the Shia law, if the father is poor, then the grandfather who is bound to maintain the grandchildren. Ordinarily, the parental obligation of maintenance comes to an end when the child becomes a major. However, in certain exceptional cases, Muslim law recognizes the parental obligation to maintain even adult children. Thus, the father is required to maintain an adult son who has been disabled on the account of some disease or physical or mental infirmity or is engaged in study. Moving on to the third category, that is parents and grandparents. Under Muslim law, the obligation to maintain poor parents rests on the sons and daughters, provided that they have means. If some of the children are poor, then the obligation lies on those who are in easy circumstances. Muslim law lays down the following conditions for the maintenance of parents and grandparents. Firstly, the maintainer should be in easy circumstances, and secondly, the claimant should be poor. Under the Hanafi law, as between the father and the mother, the latter has a preferential right of maintenance. Under the Itna Ashari law, both parents have equal right of maintenance, and whatever sum a son or daughter can pay towards the maintenance of his or her parents should be, if necessary, equally divided. A Muslim has an obligation to maintain his poor grandparents, both maternal and paternal. The obligation is the same nature as of the parents. And lastly, other relatives. Muslim law does not recognize any obligation to maintain those relations who are not within the relationship of prohibited degree by consanguinity, even though poor. The second condition is that such a relation must be poor, that is, they have no means. Then the obligation to maintain those relations is in proportion to the share which the maintainer would inherit on the death. With this, we will come to the conclusion of maintenance under Muslim law. Thank you.